Ruth, in 2015, you brought this project to the funding committee with FETL and were a real champion for it. What was your passion behind this, and why did you feel so strongly about getting this project, accepted by the funding committee?
I think it started with really having a look at the state the sector was in. I'd been through lots and lots of changes, and I had seen colleagues lose more and more energy, some leaving, some being asked to leave as the world changed around them. And actually feeling that they missed a sense of this was about the world changing, it wasn't about them not being up to this. And of course I had a long experience from working in 8 different worlds, originally as a clinical psychologist, but going on then to work in government policy about young people, and then into FE and running a college and being involved in policy stuff. So I was very clear in my mind that the world was changing and that there was nowhere for people to go at that time and work through not how to do it, but actually the who is doing what in the sector. And I had enough sense to realise something. we could, with our new mission about the leadership of thinking, do something about that. And so I approached Gabriella Brown, who was a colleague I'd known from other worlds, and said to her what was going on. She also knew FE. So I had to pursue her because she was very busy, but kept on talking to her about it and saying, please will you help think about something where we could help our colleagues. And I also knew that actually leadership is centrally focused on knowing how the world works and how to work the world.
So how did the project come about with you and Gabriella? How did you instigate all of this?
Apart from harassing Gabriella and saying, please, I know that you could be really importantly helpful at this stage. And, we then, I think that was it really. It was Gabriella being asked to think about what could be helpful. We shared enough of similar worlds, I think, to be able to take that conversation forward. But the design was completely Gabriella's, checked with us, being passed with us, because I think that the slowness and the care around it was because we knew that we were asking people to look at who they were inside themselves. Who do you take to the job each day when you go to lead an institution or people? So we were aware about the delicacy of it, aware about the importance of it, and aware about the need, because it was about learning, and learning is always about vulnerability. We're very aware of the need to help this ripen a bit before we took it forward. My passion was because I had a lot of contact with people who were calling me up for references and saying, what was going on in the system. And I was brought up to speak out if things needed to be said. And so the debate and the board was interesting, and we won the trust of the trustees in the end.
Intriguingly, you mentioned there that you were asking people to open up. That's quite difficult to get people to do in this day and age as well, isn't it? Because people are by nature defensive, and you're asking people to put their vulnerabilities on the line in an open forum with other people there. So it's not as though it's a one-on-one. And that was quite courageous in many ways.
Sure, but I had also the experience of knowing that it could work in the right hands, with the right handling, that could work well. And it's why I asked the people who worked on the programme, Gabriella designed the programme, to be of that nature. We'd already done work ourselves in group relations, and knowing it's easy to be honest when it's just you, because there's nobody there to say, are you sure? But actually when you're with a group of peers who are handling the same issues, there is no right way to do that, but it's actually knowing what sparks off in you. So sure, it was brave, a really brave programme, I think, and we'll hear from people throughout this filming how they found it, whether it helped or not. Some people didn't stay with it, maybe for reasons nothing to do with the content. But leadership needs courage.
In some respects, it went to the heart of what FETL was all about, wasn't it? Because there was a misunderstanding when FETL first began, and people were thinking it was thinking about leadership, whereas this was really the leadership of thinking. Yeah. And this project went to the very heart of that, didn't it? In the way that people thought about themselves, thought about the sector, and how the sector could be improved both in terms of its functionality and its perception.
And also that I think we'd started to notice kind of almost a knee-jerk reaction from colleagues as they grappled with inspection regime changes, funding regime changes, mergers, stuff that were way away from education, crucial to do it well, but actually away from the heart of the matter, which is really what goes on between the teacher and the taught. And actually there's still a confusion about us being about thinking about leadership. Other people do that and do it very well indeed. What's not done enough, I think even still, among politicians as well, is how do you lead thinking? How do you teach your own folks so that they know what's going on in the world? I mean, I have a simple phrase that sustains me in moments of challenge, which is actually leaders need to know how the world works and how to work the world. And in order to do that, you need to know who you are, what do you love, what do you hate, what do you envy, what do you want to destroy, really. So that's the body of it. Know how the world works and how to work the world for the success of your learners felt crucial to me.